Yeah, my dad was a wrestler.
Wrestler, like proper wrestling?
No, professional wrestling, like the WWE type stuff.
He's probably a big guy, right?
He was 400 pounds. He was
400?
6'4".
Wait, 400 like muscle or fat?
Oh, he was muscle. He was on like steroids, but he was also like a genetic beast. So he was like a huge guy.
Wait, is he dead?
Yes, he's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Was he cool?
Yeah, he was in Batman. Remember? I told you. I think he was Bane.
What?
You didn't. I thought you were asking me to be Catwoman on that thing because you knew my dad was Bane.
No, I just wanted you to be Catwoman.
No, my dad was Bane in Batman and Robin.
What?
Yeah, it says Bane's daughter on your Instagram. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you don't pay attention to.
I just look at the pretty pictures.
Yeah, it was Bane. And so I come from that's my dad.
Oh, holy shit. Wait. That's really him?
Yeah.
I watched this recently. Did we watch this recently?
Yeah,
we did, for the show.
Wait, so he was on the road?
He was mostly on the couch, but no, he was so big, and he had to like maintain this size. He felt like to compete in this industry, and he became the biggest. This is he was smaller. He was like 350 there.
I love when you go, here's him smaller.
Yeah, but he just felt that pressure to be so big that he literally would sit in front of the TV all day, go to the gym twice a day, power lift, take steroids, drink protein, eat 10 times a day. But like most of the time, his heart was like a 90-year-old man by the end of it. He just didn't have any cardio.
Did you know that he was doing steroids?
Yeah.
Like, did he share it with you?
I knew he was doing painkillers too. I watched him. I remember being a kid looking downstairs and seeing him forging doctors' things that he stole from the doctor. And I went downstairs and he covered it up with a book. And I was like, And then I remember like he took me to the doctor's office one time. He shook down the doctor because he wouldn't write him any more prescriptions.
This is where it comes from.
Oh, yeah, you think?
Wow.
Yeah. He was also, he wasn't just an actor. He wasn't just a bodybuilder. He worked with the mafia when I was younger. That's why my mom took me away from him for a while, was because he was literally like a hitman for the mafia and was killing people. And there was literally like an entire, day where my mom and I took the wrong car when we were in Holland, and we were driving around with a dead body in the car. We didn't know. So he's dead. I can say that now. Good luck detaining him. Again, he's been to prison many times.
How and when did you find out that your father was or had been a hitman?
Well, I knew something was going on when I was a kid, that it was kind of weird that we were we went to Holland, we went to like Belgium. We were traveling around with his buddy who was, his name was Peter. I'm not going to say his last name because his daughter's still my friend, but that was the guy he worked with. And he had like these Italian people around all the time. He wasn't Italian, so he wasn't like a made man, but he was working for them. It was what they call an arm and a leg man. And just basically enforcing shit.
How did you know? Did he tell you this stuff?
My dad told me little bits, but then he said, I remember just before he died, he was like, obviously, wasn't recently. Before he died, he said, when you're 16, I'm going to tell you everything. And I was like, oh, well, tell me now. And he's like, I can't tell you now, but I'm going to tell you everything when you're older. And then, he passed, and I talked to my mom, and she's told me everything. His ex-crimey, who also passed, and his daughter and his wife are still around. They told me the same stories.
How old were you when he passed away?
I was around 11, 12. Yeah. So,
was he there for you a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just...
Was he a nice person to you? Did he have a temper to you?
No.
Always kind of...
He was always chill.
But he had a temper, right?
Yeah, he hurt a lot of people, but not me. I was
But
did you ever
see that temper?
Yes. So when I was little, I remember really vividly, like we got in a fender bender. Someone just kind of tapped the back of us, and my dad goes, oh, all right, we better pull over. And I go, and I hit my head, and I just saw this like switch flip, and he got out of the car and tried to pull the guy through the closed window and was like beating the shit out of him. Just because my little head got bumped.
But that's
yeah. So
trauma.
the guy was, and then and then he beat a guy to death when I was little.
Wait, not in front of you.
I was there, but I was have you ever seen like in the apartment buildings where like it's on the outside of the apartment building? So like it's not like an inside where you walk through the halls. It's like everything's outside.
More like a motel style apartment building.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where my mom and I lived for a while. My dad and her weren't together anymore. And she basically like was staying with this guy who was like freebasing cocaine, and he used to have like a successful business and everything, but just got taken down by it. And he tried to kill her one day and was like, he went through a psychotic break. She was trying to get him out. And he like was like, I'm going to kill you. Try to like to put a fork up to her implants. Then I'm going to cut your implants out. Like
with a fork.
Yeah. Like some crazy shit, wrapped a, like a phone cord, when phone cords around her neck, strangled her. And then was just like, you know, he kept calling her his wife's name, his ex-wife's name, and then saying, where's my kid? Talking about me as if I was his daughter.
Yeah. And
I was across the way at the neighbor's house, who apparently were also freebasing cocaine, but they weren't at the time. They were just kind of sitting there. And so basically he almost killed her. She was able to talk her way out. She was like, honey, like she's next door. Like, I love you. Like, just let me go get her. We got a cake for you. It's your birthday. Like she went full survival, you know? Yeah. And he was like, he let her go, and she like she walked to the door, she said her knees like buckled, and then ran to the apartment that I was at and just runs in the door. And of course she's like screaming, shaking. And this is like traumatizing, you know, cause I'm like, what the hell? And she's like, he's going to kill us. He's going to kill us. Yeah. And then I look over, he's pacing on the fucking patio, like with a fucking shotgun, you know, like we're about to die. I mean, it was a scary moment, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, call the police. He's going to kill us. Well, he got arrested for one night, and they said he could come back and get his stuff out of the apartment. So my mom told my dad what happened, and he flew down on a red-eye flight, and we were sitting. I remember the car ride too. I remember like driving in the car to the apartment. He was like just talking, like it was like so like chill. My dad was like ice cold, you know? He's just like talking to his kid and like just super chill. No like tenseness, like he's fearless. And like we got there and we got out of the car, and I see Eddie, which is the guy's fucking name, you know, and he was a big guy, he was tall. He like looked over the thing and he goes, oh, hey, Jeep. You know, like he saw my dad. Apparently he was shirtless, first of all, and he was doing push-ups in front of our fucking apartment waiting for my mom to come back. The neighbors saw. And so he saw my dad and he goes, oh, hey, Jeep, how you doing? Like totally snapped out of it.
Yeah.
And my dad goes, oh, not much. And I remember like it was yesterday, like my dad took his sandals off. He had like these like strappy sandal things. And like, he goes, hold these, Kaylee. And I just sat there, and he went up and like just beat the fuck out of this guy to the point where I could hear everything. I could hear this guy screaming for his life. And then he ended up dying in the hospital like not too long after. But they said it looked like a truck hit him. They said it didn't look like a human being did that. Thank God this was in Texas, by the way. So.
Why is that good?
Because I don't know the statute of limitations on these things, but let's just say my mom, he attacked my mom before my dad got to him. So he was protecting her.
Right.
So.
There's a lot of like stand your ground, protect your property. Yeah. You have a right to defend yourself in very expansive ways.
Yeah, so then the neighbors, they saw it all too. So everybody just kind of, sorry, buddy, you know.
Jesus.
Have you given...
I don't know where all this rage came from.
Yeah. I mean, you must be interested in trying to figure out, I'm sure you spent some time trying to figure out like what made your dad end up being a guy who was wired that way and motivated to become the biggest, toughest guy in the world. I'm sure you had the build for it, but still you had to be motivated.
Well, first of all, I'm like a total astrology girly, and I've done my dad's charts, and he's a Pisces moon, and I don't know.
Oh, say no more.
I don't know Pisces. And I don't know one Pisces moon man that isn't a little bit unhinged. They're very sensitive.
Is that how that goes?
It's very sensitive and very hard for them to deal with their emotions and sensitivity. Oh, my wobbles. So, but yeah, it's probably not the only thing, but he definitely, his. No, don't leave me. You love me so much.
They can absolutely tell when you want them to want you.
Yeah, right.
And that's when they're gone.
Yeah.
I've dated girls that are like cats.
That's how I know. No, I love to be wanted all the time. Actually,
Pisces.
my kink is praise. It's probably why I actually liked you. I was like, he's praising me a lot. I like this guy. Something about this guy. He's really nice. There's just a light in you. It's when you notice the light in me. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, I actually did think you were rad. But so anyways, what was I saying?
Pisces moons.
He did blow up his mom's backyard with a pipe bomb when he was a child. And
What the fuck is going on?
and
I thought we were going to talk about so many other things. But anyway, sorry, keep going.
and then his brother, when I go to visit his brother loves him, like, but he's got like traumatized from my dad's like Dennis the Menace abuse when he was a child. So he'll literally be like, I loved your dad, but one time when we were kids, he'll just start in this little like ramble of like he shot me with one of the guns we had. I'm just like, what?
Is he big?
He's like 6'4", but he's skinny, lean.
Right.
My dad was his dad was a World War II hero. You know, he was one of the first on the concentration camps, one of the first tanks. His name was Tank.
Yeah.
You know, and like he's a badass dude, you know? And I think when he came back, things weren't the same, and he was not a very like emotional guy. And like and my grandmother wasn't very emotional. They were very like, you know, so I think there was a lot that maybe he didn't get nurtured and he wanted attention. Why? He's 400 pounds. You think he didn't want attention? Sounds like a little boy who's wanted attention his whole life, right?
Right.
But he was like also very just like the protector, you know, like my uncle got beat up when he was a kid, and supposedly my dad just fucking annihilated that kid. Like my dad was like, I could beat you up, you know? So
It seems like the world kind of was pushing him to be what he is.
yeah, I mean, he was wild, bro. Like, I don't know. He was awesome. There's definitely a lot of trauma that I thought was funny, and I still think it's funny, but I'm also like, oh, that's probably fucked me up a little bit, you know?
Right.
Like,
But it wasn't intentional.
no, he's just a wild man. My mom was wild. She was a stripper. Like, my dad was like, you know, she was she was gorgeous, you know, and she still is. My dad was just like, I thought the house got robbed when I was a kid multiple times. But one time we went to the store, grocery store trip, like a family. I come back, that windows are broken, the house is robbed. I'm terrified. Someone just broke into our house. We're going to die. You know, like it's just a kid, you know. It was him for the insurance money. So I didn't find that out till years later, too. So I was like, always just like sleep with one eye open.
But he fake robbed his own house.
Yeah, he also fake robbed a U-Haul.